The sun has set, the moon is shining, and each delightful creature is getting ready to snuggle in. Let's say goodnight to them all, one by one. Barry the baboon. You spent your day bounding around the savannah, chattering with your troop. Now you find a comfy tree branch to rest on, tucking your tail close. Good night, Barry. Good night. Ingrid the iguana. With your scaly skin and bright eyes, you basked in the warm sunlight on a big rock. Now, under the gentle moonlight, you close your eyes and rest. Good night, Ingrid. Good night. Darcy the dingo, swift and curious. You trotted through the enclosure, sniffing and exploring. Now, you curl up in a cozy den, safe and sound. Good night, Darcy. Good night. Finn the fennec fox. Your big ears helped you hear tiny sounds in your zoo home. Now, you curl into a fluffy ball, cozy and still. Good night, Finn. Good night. Quincy the quokka, with a friendly smile, you hopped along the sunny paths, greeting everyone you met. Tired now, you nestle into soft leaves. Good night, Quincy. Good night. Piper the prairie dog. You peeked above your burrow, chirping to warn your friends of any surprises. Then you scampered back underground. Good night, Piper. Good night. Marty the moose, tall and strong, you roamed through the small forest, searching for leafy greens to nibble. Now, as night falls, you find a quiet place to rest. Good night, Marty. Good night. Tisha the toucan. Your bright beak and colorful feathers glowed in the rainforest canopy. Now, perched high on a branch, you tuck your head to rest. Good night, Tisha. Good night. Frankie the frog. You hopped from lily pad to lily pad, croaking happy tunes by the pond. With the moon reflecting on the water, you settle on a leaf. Good night, Frankie. Good night. Basil the bison. Big and strong, you roamed the plains with your herd, munching on tall grass. When evening comes, you rest your head for a peaceful sleep. Good night, Basil. Good night. Nora the narwhal. With a magical tusk and a gentle spirit, you glided through chilly ocean waters. As the moonlight sparkles on the waves, you float calmly below. Good night, Nora. Good night. Holly, the hamster, tiny and fluffy. You spent the day running through your wheel and exploring your cozy space. Now, you curl up in your soft bedding. Good night, Holly. Good night. Bernie the beaver. Busy as can be, you built a sturdy lodge and gathered sticks. With the day's work done, you snuggle inside your cozy wooden home. Good night, Bernie. Good night. Orion the ocelot. Quiet and quick, you padded through the rainforest, spots blending with dappled sunlight. Tired now, you sprawl on a branch to nap. Good night, Orion. Good night. Penelope the peacock, fanning out your dazzling feathers, you walked gracefully across the garden, displaying your brilliant colors. As twilight falls, you roost on a peaceful branch. Good night, Penelope. Good night. Juno the jaguar, sleek and strong, you moved silently through the lush rainforest, your golden coat shimmering in the sun. As darkness settles, you find a quiet spot to rest. Good night, Juno. Good night. Evie the emu. Your long legs carried you swiftly across the dusty plains. Now you settle down, nestling your feathers against the cool night air. Good night, Evie. Good night. Cora the kiwi. With tiny wings and a long beak, you scurried through the forests, poking around for tasty treats. Now you rest in a soft nest. Good night, Cora. Good night. Wilma the warthog. Bristly and bold, you rooted around in the mud, snorting happily with your family. As the moon rises, you snuggle into a safe, earthy den. Good night, Wilma. Good night. Darius the deer. Graceful in the meadow, you leapt over tall grasses and listened to birdsong. Under the glowing moon, you settled down to rest. Good night, Darius. Good night. Della the pelican. With a wide pouch for scooping fish, you glided above the water, diving for dinner. Under the moonlit sky, you fluff your feathers and drift off. Good night, Della. Good night. Connie the cassowary striking and proud, you stepped softly through tropical forests, bright crest shining. Now you tuck yourself away in a leafy hideaway. Good night, Connie. Good night. Marvin the mongoose. Quick and clever, you scampered after insects and greeted your friends with a cheerful chatter. As dusk settles, you curl up, tail wrapped around. Good night, Marvin. Good night. Audrey the anteater. With your long snout and big claws, you feasted on ants and termites all afternoon. Ready for rest, you find a warm spot to lie down. Good night, Audrey. Good night. Sasha the serval. With tall ears and spotted fur, you crept through the tall grass, listening for every rustle. Under shimmering stars, you stretch and relax. Good night, Sasha. Good night. Ophelia the okapi. Secretive and gentle, you moved like a quiet shadow through the rainforest. In the soft glow of twilight, you finally settle to rest. Good night, Ophelia. Good night. Henri the honey badger. Brave and bold, you trotted across the savannah, sniffing out little treats. With the day done, you dig a cozy burrow for a well-earned sleep. Good night, Henri. Good night. Fiona the flamingo. All day long, you waded gracefully through the water, fluffing your soft pink feathers in the warm sunlight. But now, as the stars twinkle above, you lower your head, balanced on one leg. Good night, Fiona. Good night. Gus, the gorilla mighty and gentle, you patted the soft ground, watching over your family. As the night settles in, you nestle into a leafy bed, eyes growing heavy. Good night, Gus. Good night. Zelda the zebra. Under the golden sun, your black and white stripes shined as you galloped freely across the grass. But now, as the world grows quiet, you lay down to rest, safe and sound. Good night, Zelda. Good night. Now, all of our new zoo friends are softly snoozing, and the stars twinkle in the deep night sky. You, dear one, have done a wonderful job helping them all drift off. It's time for your rest, too. Good night, little dreamer. May your dreams be filled with wonder.